everyone, and welcome to Cherries Red Army and our latest video. I've got Aaron Kaye and Matt Davies with me, and we need to just let you know that there won't be a match preview for Blackburn and a match preview for Nottingham Forest because I've got limited time during this period. But what we thought is there's 3 games to go. There was a 3-3 against Swansea. We need to discuss it because there is raw reaction. There is feelings going around the fan base. And that's what we're going to do right now in the next 20 to 30 minutes. So, Aaron, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Kirk. I'm feeling very indifferent this morning. Need to talk about it. So this should be a good session. And yeah, we'll go from there because, yeah, I'm feeling all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, so am I. Matt, how are you? We're going to discuss it. There's going to be some raw reaction. We tell it how it is. We keep it real, don't we?
Yeah, just a mixture of elation, disappointment and frustration, really, based on last night. All those feelings rolled into one. So, yeah, we'll dissect it, I'm sure. Look forward to it. Let's have a session.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. We've gone past 900, a few games left. Keep supporting Cherries Red Army and give this video a like. There might be some stuff that you agree with. There might be some stuff you don't agree with. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. But that's what we're here for. This is football. It's all about the debate. We need to go straight into it. It was Swansea 3, Bournemouth 3, Aaron. And look, I went into this game confident. We hadn't lost against Swansea in the last 10 matches against them, hadn't conceded against them in the last 7. They were 3-0 up in this game, and we looked dead and buried. Look, we came back, like Matt said, to get the 3-3. Kiefer Moore off the bench, a signing that we were looking to bring something different to our side. He struggled with an injury, but it is a point. It is sort of still in our hands, but it's also played into a certain Nottingham Forest hands as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're 3-0 down. Although we did have some chances, it was such a slow start from us. We were completely overwhelmed in the middle of the pitch. They were passing around us. You know, they're unbeaten in 8 games. Ironically, in better form than it would have been before the storm hit when we were originally due to play them. But we just looked all over the place. And the players panicked. From as soon as we went 1 down, they seemed to panic. And then at 2 down, there was so much time left in the game. And yeah, the players just seemed, I don't know if it was the pressure or not, but look, at 3-0 down, you clearly take a 3-3 draw. And in the end, it was a great point. It could end up being a valuable point. We could have won it. I mean, the sickener for me was Forest winning at Fulham. You know, I had both games on. And it was just both games were literally, we were all pulling our hair out watching both of them because Fulham couldn't put a pass together and just kept missing chance after chance. We were doing the same, and it was just, this is the nightmare scenario. I kept thinking before the game, you know, we could be 8 points clear by tonight and clinch promotion on Saturday. The worst case would have been 2 points, but that point potentially does change the dynamic slightly. We'll come on to that. But yeah, as Matt said, it's, you know, it was a really weird feeling because, you know, coming back like the way we did, we'd normally be going absolutely mental, and I'm sure the people there were, but kind of looking at the bigger picture with both games on, I just couldn't get out of my head. We've suddenly let a 7-point lead go to 5 and now to 3. The momentum's of Forest. And whilst I was delighted we got back into the game, yeah, we're in a really precarious position. It is still in our hands, but the crucial thing now is that it's also in Nottingham Forest's hands. So we now aren't in a position where it's out of their hands. It's in their hands. If they win all 3 games, they get promoted.
It's a really weird situation with Scott Parker. I made this statement a few weeks ago, Matt, that he's either a good manager or he's not a good manager with the fan base. 97 minutes against Fulham, you just know that there's going to be bad feedback if we had lost that game. 98th minute equaliser, he's a good manager again. 3-0 down against Swansea, what is he doing? We need to get him out the club. 3-3 at full time at Swansea, he's turned it around again. He's saved his bacon. The matter of the fact is, for me, though, Matt, that in both of those games, when we were holding our fullbacks back and we weren't sort of on the front foot and we're trying to just play possession-based football, just trying to be a bit safe, shall we say, we struggled. The minute we took the handbrake off and we had a bit of urgency and nothing to lose, we've scored 4 goals in the Championship.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a mixture of complacency on the players' part, pressure on the players' part, poor management on Parker's part, poor tactics, or a little bit of all of that. But when you look at it with the naked eye and you see things as they unfold on the pitch, you know, we've said it before, you have to look at the management team, really, because the way we're starting games, and this isn't the first time that this has happened, is it? It happened at West Brom a couple of weeks ago, and it's happened numerous times this season. We just don't start matches very well for whatever reason, and the handbrake is firmly on, isn't it? And it was only at 3-0 down yesterday that he thinks, well, I've got nothing to lose now. We're 3-0 down, you know. And he even said, I think he even said it in his post-match interview. He said, you know, really, you're looking at it and you're thinking, let's just take our medicine, regroup, and move on to the next one. And you're thinking, well, you know, you should have never let that situation get to that point, Scott. You know, you're talking about a Swansea side, 13th in the league. All right, they're unbeaten in 7 at home at the moment, but a fairly average championship side. And with the squad that we've got on offer, the players we've got on offer, there's no way in the world with 4 games to go that we should be 3-0 down in that football match. And then all of a sudden he decides to respond, you know, bring on plan B, plan C, whatever it is with Kiefer Moore, put 2 up top and suddenly throw caution to the wind and think, well, we've got nothing to lose here. And look what happens. We score 3 times. Like Aaron said, it could have been 4. We could have won the game. Why are we not playing like that? Why are we not starting matches like that? You know, we've been used to a brand of football under Eddie Howe that was the polar opposite of it, haven't we, really? Where we would come out of the blocks absolutely firing at teams, home and away. We would get our partnerships moving down the flanks. Our fullbacks would be pushing up, linking in, overlapping, pushing on. There'd be an intensity, a pressure to our play. An opposition wouldn't know how to handle it, wouldn't know how to cope with us. And, you know, we could be 2 or 3 up in a football match and, you know, it's a fairly comfortable thing. And that should be the case with the group of players that we've got. And this overinflated, bloated squad that we've got. So Aaron's right. It's just an absolute mix of, and like I've just said, it's a mix of emotion, really. But the fact of the matter is, you know, we've now 3 games left. If we throw it away from here, it's just, we keep repeating and saying it, Kirk, don't we? But it's absolutely unforgivable, really, from a management point of view.
I think we got lucky. Swansea are the sort of team who don't shut up shop like West Brom. And that's the only thing I was saying to my boys last night. I said, you know, at 3-0 down, Swansea kept coming to their credit. And any other team, he wouldn't have got back into it. But Swansea, for some ridiculous reason, go kamikaze. And they fell foul of it against Reading last week. Same happened again. So maybe they got to learn a few lessons. But I think because of their attitude, we were able to get back in the game.
Yeah.
I know that I felt recently after a few games, especially at home, the 0-0 against Borough, that game last night, I woke up the next morning there and thinking, deflated, feeling deflated. And then I go to the squad and I feel like I go back to January, and Matt's just mentioned, is it bloated? And I look at Jack Stacey was doing very well at right back when we had no fullbacks. The minute Smith's fit, Jack Stacey's out the team. Haven't seen him since. Laird's had his opportunity. I don't quite see the Laird as an upgrade on Jack Stacey. I think he's a good player. Does he overlap enough for me? No, he doesn't. I look at Leif Davis. Where's Leif Davis? Robbie Brady's come off the bench yesterday and contributed, but didn't do anything previously at home to Blackburn. We've got Ben Pearson. We've got Dembele. Where was he in this team at times? Is it causing us a problem having a squad too big? And is that causing Scott issues outside of getting 11 players on the football pitch to win a football match?
Well, we don't seem to be having any consistency. As Matt spoke about the 14-15 team, I hate to keep going back to it, but we knew what the 1 to 11 were, bar 1 or 2 players. It was Brett or Jan. And we don't seem to have that with this team. Yes, there's been injuries. I guess I get that. But it's the change of formations, the change, you know, just going from one thing to another. And I don't know what they're practicing in training. I mean, I, for one, last night was screaming for Dembele to come on. And I'll happily admit it. I didn't think Robbie Brady was the right sub at the time. But he did a good job. He put some brilliant balls in. We know he's got that ability. And I guess if you're bringing Kiefer Moore on, you want someone with great crossing ability, which is what Robbie Brady's got. But they were so open. And I was thinking to myself, you know, even at 3-0, Jayden Anthony, who's been brilliant this season, just wasn't having a great game. Whether the pressure's getting to him, he just wasn't happening for him. You got Dembele on the bench, who every time he comes on, yes, can be unpredictable, but makes an impact. And fine, a 3-0, Brady and Moore come on, we pull it back. But I just felt last night, if you're not going to play Dembele when you're 3-0 down in an open game like that, when there were acres of space on the wing, when the hell are you going to play him? So I'm not saying Robbie Brady shouldn't have come on, but maybe bring Dembele on as well. I mean, Phil Bill, for me, hasn't been doing anything recently. And again, did not much for me last night as well. Cantwell picked up an injury, supposedly, so wasn't in the squad. But I'm pretty sure Kiefer Moore would have been on the bench anyway, so someone else would have missed out. But it is an interesting one. Smithy has been great, and he's clearly going to start if he's fit. It'd be interesting to know now if he now starts with Stephen Wright and Brady on the left. It's kind of just like, oh, they've had a good game, let's put them in. We need to get consistency. There's 3 games left, and we need to know what formation. Maybe we do go 2 up top, and maybe that's better in a 3-5-2, which I've never particularly been an advocate of, but it seemed to work last night, and it worked towards the back end of the Fulham game. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, look, you can talk about the squads. Parker's there to pick the squad. Only 11 can be on the pitch. But it is up to those 11 and the subs that come on to perform. And that's something that you can't blame the management for if players aren't performing.
And that's not Todd Cantwell as well, wasn't in the side. And whilst we couldn't defend for large spells of that game against Swansea, Matt, when you've got Cahill surely fresh and ready to get going again, Mepham not part of the action. Nottingham Forest went to Fulham and beat Fulham 1-0. Even though Fulham had 20 attempts, I saw that coming a mile off. I also tweeted about that it wouldn't surprise me if Forest beat them and Fulham didn't get anything from that game. And behind that Forest win was a monstrous performance from Steve Cook. And this is really starting to worry me with Forest coming to town next Tuesday.
Yeah, massive worry. I mean, I think I totally agree with what Aaron's saying there, because it's something that I said. I think we did a transfer show, didn't we? And one of my concerns was we bought about 7 or 8 players in the summer, which I thought we've done some good business there. We've now got a fairly strong squad. We can have a go at this. And then in January, it's almost like Parker says, well, I'm not sure about those 7 we bought in. Bring me another 7 in, because I'm not sure. Where's Marcondes? Not even in the picture now. Morgan Rogers has obviously gone back. All these players that he bought in, he clearly hasn't got much confidence in. So now he said, go and get me another 7 that are of a better quality, and don't worry about the finance or anything, the future of the football club. That was the worry for me. And it's created that it was always going to be a challenge for Parker, wasn't it, to create that settled squad with the size of it and keep everyone happy. And like Aaron says, and we've said before, 14, 15, you could name 9, 10 players on that team sheet. You had consistency. But more important than that, Eddie Howe, don't want to keep harping back to the fella, but he was obviously a legend of the football club. He was key at developing players, so he would stick with players. He wouldn't much to our frustration. Sometimes we think, why is he showing so much faith in this lad? He's just not cutting it, is he? But he would stick with him as much as he possibly could. He would have faith in him. He would get close to him. He would manage him, and he would develop these players. And he was master at doing that. Parker's not doing that for me. The players that came in, the young players that came in at the start of the season that stepped up to the plate out of nowhere, much to our surprise, our delight, really. How many of those players, barring probably Travers, have kicked on this season? Arguably Jayden Anthony, but you could also say maybe not. They seem to be, a lot of these players seem to be going backwards. Where's the player development? Where is he showing his man? Where is he showing his coaching skills? Where is the development of these players? Because we can't keep on with this scenario of, let's go and get another 6 or 7 players. We're not happy with this 6. Draft a load more in. Let's increase the squad to 32, 33. That inconsistency for me is he's just all over the place at times. Like Aaron said, he's changing formation. He's picking this player, one get low, will score 3 in a row, and then he'll get dropped. Stacey, starts playing, has a decent enough game, then gets dropped, and he's not even in the squad, let alone the 11. To me, it just smacks of, I don't know what it smacks of. It doesn't smack of leadership and management, though, does it? And that's the worry for me. And I think we see the results of that on the pitch with the erratic results that we're getting. We're a 1 in 14, one game in 4. We'll turn up and we'll play well. We'll go to Huddersfield or Coventry and put on a show, albeit riding our luck, particularly at Coventry. And then in between that, you'll have lots of games where it's very frustrating. We're either leaking goals or we're not taking our chances at the other, because it's so fragmented. I think the players sometimes wonder what their role is, really, what's being asked of them or expected of them. And it's all very, very confusing at times, I must say. But yeah, back to your point, Kirk, Steve Cook. Yeah, but again, that's part of the point, isn't it? Why get rid of a fella like Steve Cook and not play Gary Cahill? With respect, you bring in Nat Phillips, who Liverpool are always going to say, well, if you're going to take him, you've got to play him. So that leaves Cook away to Forest and Cahill nowhere to be seen. Two of the leaders, the big leaders in our squad, and we're not playing either of them. No. Baffling.
Just showed that on the screen. So that's the current championship table after those midweek games. Fulham at the top with 87. Couldn't quite seal promotion, or shall I say the league. Bournemouth, 79 points, 43 games. Forest now 3 points behind. Goal difference exactly the same on 76. Feel like I've been a little bit disrespectful to Huddersfield the last few weeks, not mentioning them at all, but they've done well this season. 76 points, they're fourth. Luton are fifth, and Sheffield United currently sixth, with Blackburn just outside the playoffs, who are the next team we take on. And as you look down at the bottom of the screen on the banner, you'll see the final 3 games for both teams. And we go to Blackburn at the weekend, Aaron. I think you're going to be there. And I have a massive concern now with how this has played out, and us only picking up the 1 point last night and not enough points recently, is that the mentality might be put on the players from minute one to not lose at Blackburn, to not lose at Forest and beat Millwall at home. That worries me, because if it doesn't go to plan like it didn't against Swansea and we lose, then Forest is just going to come to Bournemouth and they've got absolutely nothing to lose. They've never had anything to lose.
No, I'm massively concerned. I really am concerned now. I think you're right. We cannot lose at Blackburn, otherwise it's not in our hands. Look, we assume Forest are going to beat Swansea and Hull. We have to assume that. If they don't, then great. But that basically means they're going to get at least 6 points. Now, we're playing Blackburn and Millwall, both of who can get in the playoffs, so they're going to be fighting like absolutely really hard. So you're right. A draw against Blackburn, a draw against Forest, and a win against Millwall gets us as promoted. Ironically, that's 5 points. Ironically, 6 points doesn't get us promoted if we beat Blackburn and Hull, but lose. Sorry, Blackburn and Millwall, but lose to Forest. I mean, all these permutations. I was sitting staring at the league table for minutes last night. I'm just making myself ill. Trying to think about it. But you're right. We can't. The issue is in some senses, we want to go for Blackburn because they kind of have to win. But in the back of our minds, which Scott Parker clearly will be going for, it's a must not lose game, because even if Forest win, then we're 1 point ahead of them going into our game, and we know we can draw that game. And by the way, Millwall last day will not be a given by any stretch. So that could happen, then we could still not beat Millwall. So, it's a very dangerous game to play. And ironically, the other side of the coin is we could go to Blackburn and win 3-0 again. Brilliant. Forest go and beat Swansea, and we're still where we are now if we still lose to Forest. So, it's a really difficult situation to put ourselves in now, because we'll go to Blackburn, get a win, be elated with that. But if Forest come to Dean Court on Tuesday and beat us, they're going to go ahead of us on goal difference. So it's really difficult, but I guess we just have to take one game at a time. I mean, Blackburn have been in woeful form up until their last game, when they suddenly found their form again, an inconsistent Preston. So who knows what's going to turn up. And I don't even know myself how to approach this. So I've had my opinions all season about how we should be approaching games. So right now, I'm not going to necessarily stick it into Scott for how he might play, because if I was manager, I wouldn't have a clue how to play this game. Do you be cautious? Do you make sure you do not lose this game? Or do you go for it? It's very, very tricky.
1 win in 6, Matt, for Blackburn. That was against Preston, their last fixture on the road. 4 wins since January the 24th, 3 at home, but have lost in that sort of spell since January at home to Stoke 1-0, Bristol City 1-0. These 2 football sides that have really struggled in the Championship. It's easy for me to say, isn't it, sitting in my living room, that you go for it. But I'm looking for Scott Parker to look at that last 20 minutes at Swansea and attack the last 3 with that mentality. I think you need to try and get Kiefer Moore in this side from here on in, if he's fit, if he can do 3 games in a row after that broken foot. Let's go with 2 up top somehow. Let's approach this game. I know you can look on paper and think a draw against Blackburn's fine, a draw against Forest is fine, as long as we beat Millwall. We've got to go and win that football match against Blackburn. I'm sorry, because I tell you what, if we don't go up or we end up in the playoffs, which is another conversation for another time, there's some serious questions from my point of view on Scott Parker, because we have been in so many strong positions this year, and this has been the most forgiving season of all seasons in the Championship. Are you wanting to go for this on Saturday, or are you worried that Scott Parker's going to put this cautious mentality on the squad again, minute 1?
No, we have to go for it. For me, we have to go for it. This has got Huddersfield away, Coventry away, written all over it. Blackburn. I mean, Sheffield United play QPR, Aaron. I think you touched on it before we come on air. I'm not sure what result we want from that, really. Do we even want Sheffield United not to win the football match, because it keeps Blackburn in with a shout of the playoffs, and it means that they have to come out with us on Saturday, because when teams do that, we can pick them off if we're on our game. We didn't necessarily do it last night. Swansea had nothing to lose and come at us and stayed open, which allowed us, like Aaron, you pointed out, it allowed us back in the game, really, because they're so open and so gung-ho, and they do play open, expansive football. That allowed us back in, really, because they kept going for goal number 4, didn't they, at 3-0, really. Blackburn have to come out and win the football match, or they may have to come out and win the football match, which may suit us. But for me, we have to go for it, because Blackburn Rovers are not... They impressed me massively at Dean Court, to be fair, and they beat us 2-0. They looked a really solid unit, and they got about us, and they stifled our they cancelled us out that day, got to grips with our game, and got a good result. But you look at them recently, you've touched on it, Kirk, since January, their form has not been great at all. For me, they're another average Championship side in what's been a poor standard, I think, of football in the Championship this season on the whole. A lot of teams, it's either poor or a lot of teams are so close together that there's not much to call between about 14 or 15 teams, really, in many ways. And it's who shows the most desire, who's got that edge about them. And I think we know we can go to Blackburn Rovers and win the game comfortably. We know that with the squad we've got. So it's up to Parker to devise a plan to get us to do that. He needs to refer back to what we did against Huddersfield, bits of what we did against Coventry. I agree with maybe going 2 up top, certainly getting somebody closer to Dom, whether that is Kiefer Moore, he can play another game, or Jamal Lowe, one of the two. Get a system in place that allows us to be a bit more expansive and go for it, really, and win the football match, because I don't really want to be going into that Forest game on Tuesday night on the back foot and needing to win, because for me that fills me with dread, to be honest. I don't see a happy ending from that, really. So this match on Saturday is absolutely pivotal.
But it's a weird feeling, isn't it? Because as I was saying, like, this is at this stage of the season, because of that point last night when it's in Forest hands as well as ours. As I said, Matt, we could go up to Blackburn, get a last-minute equaliser, and if Forest have lost, then that's great. We could win 4-0, which would be brilliant, right? But if Forest go and win 5-0, then we're in the same position as we are now. So it's kind of a really weird feeling. We're kind of treading water until that Forest game in reality. Whatever result we do. But you're right. If we do beat Blackburn, then it's actually a draw against Forest, and then a draw against Millwall's enough. So maybe that's the way to look at it. But even a loss against Blackburn, worst case scenario, we lose to Blackburn, Forest win. It's still in our hands if we beat Forest. And maybe in some respects, having to beat Forest at home, the psychology might be more in our favour than having to sit back and get a draw against them. I don't know. I just don't know.
My concern is, though, Aaron, that Steve Cooper and Forest, they've come from nowhere since September.
No, the momentum's with them. Momentum's with them for sure.
They've got nothing to lose. Like, even at this point, I don't think they've got anything to lose. What has it been, like 18 years since they've been in the Premier League? I mean, Forest fans are just lapping this up. All the pressure is on us. And now what we need, Aaron, is we need Scott Parker to take that pressure off and go, do you know what? We've arguably got the best squad in this league. I know some Fulham fans might say, you ain't got the best squad we have. Watched you last night. I'm not sure you have either. At the end of the day, we've got the best squad. Just let them play. Just let them play. Look what Kiefer Moore can do. Dom Slanky, 28 league goals. Can Todd Cantwell play a part? Is Philip Billing done for the season? I don't know. Just let this team play, please. Yeah,
it's not as easy as that. That's the problem. I mean, the players, he can say whatever he wants. The players will feel the pressure. Our players will feel the pressure more than Forest's. Forest have come from nowhere, as you say, and a lot of our players' futures are relying on this, and they're going to feel the heat. They're going to look behind them. Forest are coming. We're playing them on Tuesday, and it's not even. It's actually forgivable in some, because this happens to every team every season. You're going to feel the heat at this stage of a season, and we're feeling the heat massively. And I can see like Brereton Diaz. He's suddenly hitting form again. Gallagher, you got Dak back. You just don't know if their crowd are up for it. We could succumb under the pressure. Mowbray's a wily manager to know exactly how to set up in the way that we don't want them to. But you're right. I think the pressure is there. And obviously, if we fall into the playoffs, there'll obviously be plenty more shows to discuss it. But you know, the psychology will be really, really difficult. On paper, you'd like to think, you know, if Forest and Fulham are up, we should have too much for all the other three teams, but it doesn't work like that. But let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
And when we break it down, Matt, and I'm just going to break it down now for the viewers, up to the 31st of October, we played 15 games, 37 points. We were 9 clear of the playoffs in first. The next set of games that took us up to 30 games, which is about the 14th of February, we were second on 58 points, 5 points clear of the playoffs. Forest were currently 7th at this point with 47 points. And after last night, 43 games, 79 points, 3 points clear. And Forest are now on 76 points when we looked at that table. And this is running down to the wire. And I just can't get away from being concerned about it.
No, I mean, the pressure will be on Forest, purely because the only reason I say the pressure will be on Forest is because of the expectation from their fan base, because they are a big club. They're absolutely desperate to get back in the Premier League as a football club, as a fan base. So the players will feel that pressure. Of course they will, when they've got 30,000 fans in their stadium and 4,000, whatever they get, following them home and away. But it's always the case, isn't it? Like you both said, that the team that's got it to lose just can't handle it, because you've got a team behind with not so much to lose. It just gains momentum and more momentum as it rolls on. And that team that was running away with it, that had it in the bag, starts to panic. And that seems to be us. And that is my worry at the moment. But touching on what you've said there, Kirk, you know, since November, we haven't deserved to get promoted. Let's be honest, lads. You know, anybody watching wants to say anything different, then I'll listen to you. But come on, we haven't deserved promotion since November. We've been a mid-table team. We've looked bang average at best at times, and we don't deserve it, I don't think, really. You know, it's absolutely criminal the way we've let it slip from the position that we've been in. But for me, it's been a very frustrating season in many ways, and you have to say that Forest are the team that have come on strong, and they look like a promotion side at the moment. Anyone that goes to Fulham, keeps a clean sheet, wins 1-0. That to me smacks of a promotion side. We don't look like that. You know, we look all over. You never know what you're going to get from us, do you? Which is a worry. And as for the playoffs, wouldn't be confident. I would not be confident if we drop into the playoffs. I think that could be a massive blow psychologically. It would take a hell of a recovery to come through that with the teams that will be up for it, and some of the big clubs you've got behind you in those playoffs. So massive concern at the moment, massive worry, and who knows what will happen.
This hasn't made me feel any better, by the way. But what I would say is the only thing you can say, the positive is, and it is a very big positive, is the spirit is clearly there in the camp. The way we came back against Fulham, the way we came back, look, at any game, in any stage of the season, and you come back from 3-0 down with 18 minutes to go, you got to get plaudits for that. They didn't give up. The spirit was there. The players were trying. And that's the one thing I'm clinging on to at the moment, is they don't look despondent. The spirit is there. The effort's there. The desire's there. And that's what could see us over the line. We could go to Blackburn and spank them. We could have a brilliant night under the lights against Forest and beat them. No doubt at all. So that's what I'm clinging on to at the moment.
You just don't know, Aaron, do you? What you're going to get. It's the uncertainty, isn't it, that kills me.
Based on that theory, there's obviously not going to be any predicted 11 for this Blackburn game or Forest. We'll also find out at 2:00 on Saturday what the team's going to look like. But from what I'm seeing, from what I'm feeling, I want a squad that's going to attack Blackburn. Look, what may be slightly different against Forest, but definitely on Saturday, I want to see.
I don't think Kiefer Moore's going to be able to start. From Chris Temple put something out. He admitted last night he's nowhere near match fit.
Right. Okay.
So he'll be on the bench for sure.
Okay, for sure. Right, let's try and summarize this video then, and we hope you've enjoyed it. We hope that you agree with some of it. You might not, but we're open to your thoughts in the comments. But let's just summarize this match, shall we? 3 games to go, season defining. Like Aaron said, we could look back on this if we get promoted and go, what a big penalty, 98th minute penalty that was from Dom Solanke, coming back from 3-0 down. It could be looked at as, you know, what a defining moment. If we don't go up, it will also be looked as defining as the points we've dropped at home, especially against those teams lower in the table. But I want a summary from you. 3 games to go. May the 7th, I think, is that Millwall game. Where are you at? Are we going to do it?
I think it's still ours to lose, isn't it? If you look at the facts, we're 3 points clear. You know, we played the same number of games as Forest. We've got a game in hand over Huddersfield. And we've got Forest at home, Blackburn away and Millwall home. The saving grace could be that all three of those sides may have something to play for, which I personally do think, it suits us more. So it is still ours to lose in many ways. We're the home team against Forest. We're 3 points ahead of them at the moment. So, but going on that and going on the fact that we have managed to sort of pull things out of the bag at critical points this season. I'd go back to Huddersfield away, even last night and against Fulham, we pulled something out of the bag. I think we might just by the skin of our teeth get over the line, because I've got to be positive. I don't want to come on and be too negative on this show. Let's be honest, we're still in second place with 3 games to go. So if you'd have said that in July, we'd have all taken it, wouldn't we? If nobody had said, what would unfold during the season. So let's end with a bit of positivity from my aspect, and say that yes, we will just about get over the line by hook or by crook. But I just want to say one more thing as well. I've obviously gone on record and given my thoughts about Kiefer Moore. He firmly slammed them down my throat last night. So I hope he continues to do that. I still stand by some of what I said, by the way, because I don't think he'll offer much for us in the long term. And I still think it's questionable the amount we've paid for him. But fair play to you, Kiefer, last night. 2 great goals when we needed it most. He comes off the bench. He's clearly not even fit. But he, like Aaron's already touched on, he'll come off the bench a lot. So he will be used as that. For me, Parker will use him as that panic plan B, plan C type striker. And, again, it just sums up everything as to where we are at the moment, as to where his management is, really. But, yeah, brilliant stuff last night from Kiefer Moore. I'll always get behind him, and I was chuffed for him to get his 2 goals.
Well, and I was going to say, just think how much. I'm with Matt. Who knows how good he'd be if we get to the Premier League? But I think he would have been. He's really what we've been missing in the last few weeks. And if he'd have been available against teams like Peterborough at home and some other games I could think of, it made a big difference. But anyway, yeah, he hasn't been. So I guess that's that. I mean, if you ask any of my good friends, I'm generally a negative, pessimistic person. Not in like a horrible way, but just in a worrying way. I worry about everything. So, like Matt, I don't want to end on a down note. I'm probably in lots of my WhatsApp groups and speaking to you guys and watching people in the back of the net as well. They all seem quite upbeat. Obviously, a lot of them were there last night, and you can't not be upbeat having come back like that. So maybe if I was there, I'd feel differently. I'm not going to say we're not going to do it, but I am concerned. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't think we're going to do it. No, I really don't. And I don't want to end that video on that note, but I'm just being honest here. And I would love nothing more than for you to meme this and that we go and win all 3 games and I'll be the first person running on the pitch. But I've just, we've seen it all before, and I just think momentum's of Forest, the way we are, we might just scrape over the line. If we do, it will literally be scraping over the line. But, we'll see. We'll see.
Football is about opinions, and that's absolutely fine. We 100% will do a meme if it happens. My summary is that I don't care what league AFC Bournemouth are in. I went to League 2. I went to League 1. I'll be going there again. What I do care about is our club being stable, because you were there putting money in buckets. We don't want to be there again. And I want that training ground built, because that training ground takes us from a Cat 3 to whatever it is, a Cat 1, and means that actually as a future as a club, we could potentially sign better players that are youthful and could bring this club back to the top if we don't go up now. So I want us to do it. Of course I do. I want Scott Parker to be brave. I want us to have a little bit more urgency and enthusiasm. Whether we do it or whether we not, let's do it the right way. That's where I'm at with it, guys. Let's do it the right way. Let's not do it with a whimper and look back and go, why did we just not have a little go? So look, I want us to have a bit of a go. There are going to need to be some tactics within that, probably against Forest. But the team must have seen now what happened last night, what we have done previously, and we need to take that mentality into Saturday, definitely. So, Matt, thank you very much. It is a raw reaction, but we appreciate your honesty, and we're going to be there to the end, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wholeheartedly, what you've just said there, Kirk, I've been there at the Winter Gardens. I've been there when I didn't think we were going to have a football club anymore. I really didn't. And, you know, that was a horrendous period. So whatever happens, wherever we go as a football club, I'll still follow them, League Two, non-league, whatever it is. But for the future, I want us to be the best that we can be. I want us to build new stadiums, new training grounds. So that's why we all want it so badly, isn't it, really? It's not necessarily what the Premier League holds for us. It's the future of the football club.
Blackburn away, get behind the team, Aaron. I think you're going as well, Matt.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, we're both there, Aaron, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll be there. And I echo Matt said, and what you said, Kirk. You know, you said before this is season defining. I think this is future defining. Obviously, we'll all be there in League Two behind the goal at Scunthorpe if we have to be. Of course we will. But this is future defining, because if we don't go up this season, and probably the easiest championship for years, players will leave. You know, who knows where we'll end up. So it's massive. And even if we come straight back down again, which I think a lot of us will think will probably happen, but that's for another day. Let's take it. Then we're financially secure again for the next few years. So a lot riding on these 3 games, but we're there at Blackburn, 1 game at a time. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to change my. I think we're going to just do it. I'm not going to end on a downbeat. We're going to just do it.
Season defining, club defining. Do you know what, Scott Parker? Scott Parker defining as well. Show what you can be as a future manager. And we hope you've enjoyed this video. You might have enjoyed it. You may have found it frustrating if you didn't like some of the stuff that you heard. But as I said before in this video, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. Also hit the like button. So no match preview for Blackburn, no match preview for Forest, but we'll definitely bring you reaction from Ewood Park after the game. We will also have a match day vlog for Nottingham Forest, and then we'll definitely come back for a match preview of Millwall, and we'll find out exactly what we are playing for. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. From me, Matt and Aaron. We'll see you on the next one. Up the cherries.
Up the cherries.